Here, the total 58. Danny.
Too many points for me. I like what LSU has been doing. They've quietly been kind of figuring things out. Jaden Daniels has accounted for 20 touchdowns and just one interception between his throwing prowess and what he's able to do with his legs. But to me, this is more about Alabama. And if this was in Tuscaloosa, I'd probably say lay them. But on the road, that's where I do think they're vulnerable, where it's tougher to communicate, tougher to protect Bryce Young, which they've struggled to do at times. And this Bama team, I go back to the game at Texas, when you did lose Quinn and Hudson Card, still had them in that game, and they're vulnerable to the big plays. I think Jaden Daniels keeps LSU in this game within that 13.5. Ultimately, I think Alabama will pull away, but I think their defense is gettable. Kayshon Boutte, one of the better wide receivers in the SEC, I think he gets some good production. So I think this will be a good game. I just don't think Alabama will be able to just walk into Baton Rouge and blow them away.
This is one of those lines, and looking at the last game we just talked about, the SEC, hey, it looks like too many points. I felt the same way with this one, and it's leading me to think that someone knows something. And I think if you look at the progress that LSU, in particular Jaden Daniels, has made, you touched on it, he's been phenomenal. I mean, over the past couple weeks, completing 74% of his passes, averaging, almost 300 yards per game passing. That was not the way the season started off with for LSU. The difference is he played the 67th ranked defense a couple weeks ago and 117th ranked last week in total defense. So a much greater challenge when you take on Alabama that's top 15. And for me, when I look at how these two teams stack up, it's actually been LSU that's had a harder time protecting Jaden Daniels this season, and just even the quarterback position in general. And I think they're going to struggle against Alabama in the way they rush the passer. But the unsung hero will be Jahmyr Gibbs when it's all said and done. I think Alabama's going to hang their hat on the rushing attack, and that's where Bama ends up covering what looks to be a big spread. But they kind of flex now on LSU, which they've looked good of late. I'm still not really sure what this LSU team is yet.
Both like Alabama to win, which they cannot afford to lose a game if they do want into that playoff there. But Danny, as you take a look at the recap of what we have going on so far here in the SEC, saying take the points with LSU, but both agree lay them with Georgia, hosting #1 Tennessee there in Athens. Coming up, we're just getting started, giving you picks for all ranked games for Week 10, including another ranked versus ranked game, Wake Forest at NC State. We'll head to the SEC next.